how do you know this location?
This is Aotearoa Square, which is epicentre of local theatres. So behind me you've got the Town Hall, which is home to the concert chamber, and the Great Hall, which I've been lucky enough to do events in both of those spaces, and they're absolutely beautiful. And then to my left there is the Aotearoa Centre with the Kiritikanawa Theatre. So I've done a bunch of musicals in there, and then straight through this way there is the Civic Theatre, which is the biggest theatre in the country, and then behind me there's also Q Theatre and the Basement Theatre, which support local independent theatre pieces and contemporary dance pieces.
So how do you know this location?
I know this location intimately because I have done many shows in the Basement Theatre. I have worked late into the night, getting things perfect on shows. I've once done a festival where I did 3 shows here, 2 downstairs, 1 upstairs, and I had to race back and forwards up and down the stairs to plot both shows. And I have also spent a lot of nights having great conversations with all the other art practitioners that call this place their second home.
Let's just look back for a minute, and I just want to ask about your early career and how you first got interested in lights.
So I was really lucky in that the theatre program I studied at Victoria University encouraged us to do every single part of the theatre process, so that allowed me to rig lights and get to program lights, and to just that was where I discovered that I loved them, and I loved how you could change a space instantly with them, and you could tell a story, and you could create emotion. And yeah, that was just really the moment that I knew that that's absolutely hands down what I wanted to do with my life.
Was there a first or a sort of a significant show that really sticks in your mind and you thought, yes, this is the career for me?
One of the first shows I worked on was a show that my friend Eli Kent wrote called The Intricate Art of Actually Caring, and we performed it all around the country. We loaded into a van, we turned up at a venue, and it could be an opera house, or it could be a pub, or it could be an art gallery, and we unloaded the van and we made the show work in whichever venue we encountered. After I finished studying, I did a few shows at Bats Theatre in Wellington, which is an incredible theatre that has supported the start of many careers in Aotearoa. And so once I'd kind of done a few shows there, I was lucky enough to get an apprenticeship, which was when I moved to Auckland, and I was able to work with New Zealand Opera, Silo Theatre Company and Auckland Theatre Company, and work with a bunch of their designers over the course of a year, and just really soak up a whole lot of knowledge from them.
Tell me a little bit about Filament 1111, which is your creative company.
Filament 1111 is my company that I have formed with my life and art partner Bradley Gledhill, who is also a very talented lighting designer and production designer. We create lighting environments for live events. We create production designs and video designs and set designs. We make a lot of custom LED art that we it either stands on its own or it can be integrated into a performance. We really love creating works that are very technically complex, but creating design systems so that you can have all your playback can be synced up together.
You're known as a light artist, but obviously you also design for theatre and dance, opera, other performance genres. Do you have a preference, or do you like that kind of mega mix of everything?
I absolutely adore doing a little bit of everything, and I think that makes my practice even more robust, because it means I can draw on elements that I learn in large arena events. I can draw on elements of that to infuse that into a small intimate theatre show, and also I think just as importantly, vice versa, you can draw on the theatricality and the storytelling that you learn in theatre to really create large-scale events that are really memorable and special to people.
Do you have a favourite light art project?
One of my inspirations of installation art is actually the artist Leo Villarreal, who's created this amazing light matrix behind me of the creations that me and Brad have made. One of my favourite pieces was titled Detour into the Dark, and it was about safety within the city at night. And so we got poets and playwrights and members of the community to write short statements. They could be poetic or they could be just visceral experiences that they've had, and then we had scrolling text on custom low resolution screens that we then installed underneath the underpass at Myers Park.
How important is video becoming as a light source to you as a visual designer?
Yeah, video feels really essential to our practice, and we incorporate it in pretty much, I would say, 80% of our designs. And so that's either as a using projection, which we often use as a light source to either create textures within the world you're trying to create, or to delineate spaces. And we also work with a lot of LED screens as well.
Looking back, are there a couple of highlights from your portfolio of work that you could share with us?
Yeah, one of the really recent highlights actually was working on a show here at the Waterfront Theatre, which was called Scenes from a Yellow Peril by Nathan Joe. It was a poetry work that we worked alongside Jane Young, the director, and Nathan, who's a writer, and then also all of the cast and the dramaturg, and we created the lighting, the set, and the production design, and it was a really rewarding experience to create a work that felt really cohesive and that the design was completely integral to what the work was.
What's the most interesting, challenging location you've worked?
I think the strangest venue I worked in was a friend's bedroom. So it was a site-specific work that he had written, and he was playing a version of himself, and a version of his best friend was in it. And so we tried to create as many theatrical moments within a normal bedroom as possible. So we had moments where a door would open and there would be swinging coloured light bulbs. There was another moment when they talked about the rain, and the stage manager got a hose and put rain down the window. And I had, it was about a road trip, so we had car headlights that they pulled out from under the bed. It was a very enjoyable but very strange experience to do a pre-show check, which was making sure he was awake and out of bed.
Right, okay. And there's probably the most scenes ever packed into a bedroom.
Yeah, absolutely. They actually did a thing where each scene would have a title, and so it would be revealed in different areas of the bedroom.
Fantastic, sounds great. Very inventive and good fun. What do you most love about your work?
I love creating experiences for audiences that they will remember, and I love collaborating with really talented artists, so they could be musicians or choreographers or directors, and I love that I'm able to be just surrounded by people who have such creative outputs.
Now, what's great about living and working in New Zealand?
Living and working in Aotearoa New Zealand is amazing because of the people and the really quite tight-knit creative communities we have. And so I feel like that's it's in theatre, it's in opera, it's in rock and roll events. Like every show you work on, I feel like you become a bit of a family, and you have each other's backs, and you encourage each other to do your best work. And I think that is an incredibly special environment to work in.